Call to order the Lapel Town Council regularly scheduled meeting for Thursday, May 21st, 2026 from the Lapel Lions Club Community Room. First item, ask everyone to please rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Chad Blake,
Present.
Lindsay Washmuth, here. Roger Faust,
Present.
Christy Workman.
Here.
Let the record show that Gary Shuck is not present, and we have William Kane as our legal counsel.
All right, I'd like to start the meeting as we always do with public comment and concerns. Please keep things limited to 3 minutes, maybe stretch to 5 if we have to. But just approach the podium and state your name and what you got for us. Going once, going twice. Sold. On to the next item. All right, first presentation we have tonight is from the Madison County Invasive Species Team, otherwise known as MIST. Come on up to the podium. And should be power button on the mic there. Press and hold that until the light on the top goes green.
Yeah, no.
There you go. You're good to go.
You guys are fancy. Thank you for having myself and part of my group here for this meeting. MIST, Madison County Invasive Species Team. That is a SISMA. SISMA, it's the government, you know, we like our acronyms. So Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area. Basically, we're a group of volunteer members that are passionate about the environment and getting all the bad invasives out of our public areas. So we are brand new and we are very excited to work our way through the county. We kicked off in Pilton. We had our first weed wrangle at Falls Park. And we really want to be here in Lapel. So I've brought some information to leave with you guys. If anybody wants to take one with them home, has a nice little QR code you can scan and learn more about us, sign up if you want to be a part of the group. And then I also we have a fundraiser event scheduled in June at Falls Park for anybody that wants to do some yoga and donate to a good cause. So I will leave that for everybody too. Really would like to know if anybody has any questions about what we're doing and how we can get involved with Lapel.
So like, what's the weed roundup? What's when you guys have an event or do something like that? What's it look like, and what do you do to get the community beyond just your group involved?
Yes, so this was our kickoff event, and we partnered with the 8th graders from Pendleton Middle School. So we had about 35 kids and we had about 20 adults, and we focused mainly on honeysuckle. Falls Park is just thick with it, but we did end up pulling out some privet and multifloral rose, and I think that was about it. Do you guys remember what Sherry said, how many tons were removed?
7 dump trucks, yeah.
7 dump load trucks we pulled out of
2
there.
hours.
So.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-hour event. That's it.
That's a
So
lot.
that was a lot of boots on the ground. So.
And do you guys do like education for people how to
Yes, we
identify the stuff at their home and
Yes, we
keep
do.
it free also?
I would like to have programs here in Lapel. I just need meeting space. So if there's somebody that I can reach out to.
Stephanie Evelo, reach out to her and see if
Yep.
about the lodge. She is amazing with the community.
Okay. What was that name?
Stephanie Evelo.
Stephanie.
I can get you.
I'll write it down.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And of course, Katie is our parks director, so
Yes.
We've
she
been in contact.
We've been in contact.
very good. So yeah, see, we already have the space here rented on the nights of their meetings. So if there's a way to tie in, we can always help support that also.
Well, that would be great. So like I said, we kicked off in Pendleton. I've had some meetings at Mounds. We had our first meeting up in Alexandria. So I really want to get as many of the communities in the county as I can involved with this, because it is a county initiative.
Awesome.
Do you have enough of that to put, we got on one of the counters at the town hall?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And if anybody else here that wants one is more than welcome to come and get one too. And then, I think we'll get with Katie, and if we do it the same night as their park board meeting, it doesn't cost, it's already covered, it doesn't cost anything, and,
Okay.
Ties in well.
Yeah, it ties in perfectly.
okay, thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
I do have, part of my fan club here, if anybody wants to say anything. Brandy?
No,
Oh.
I'm just waving.
Okay.
You covered it great.
Look at that support.
I know, they're like, yes,
All right, I'll say a
Awesome.
little something.
yes.
I'll back you up. So, I am the executive director for Madison County Soil and Water. And I wrote a Clean Water Indiana grant for the initiative to hire Krista, to start this SISMA, or to start MIST. It's a 3-year grant, so it'll be done the end of 2027. We're really hoping that we can get the county on board to pick up her position full-time. The other thing that I just really quick wanted to say is hopefully if there's people watching online that want to come to, if we have it at a park board meeting, we do have a weed wrangle. As many volunteers, it's for the community to be involved, not just for the group to show up to remove the invasives. So, something else cool that Soil and Water did was we donated, the material for the day of service for the Lapel High School Industrial Technology to build the picnic table that's gonna go in the park.
Awesome.
Cool.
We have a little my husband's the industrial technology teacher, so.
That's a good
But
idea.
I thought that would be a cool thing to work with the community, so, yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
If we have our way, you guys are gonna be seeing a lot of us.
And less honeysuckle.
Unless.
But way less.
All right. All right, next up on presentations tonight, Banning Engineering.
Hi, two,
Hello, sir.
right here.
It's still on, but
It's
you're
on,
good.
okay. I'm Jeff Henson, I'm with Banning Engineering, I work out of our Pendleton office. Our main office is in Plainfield, but we opened an office 3 years ago, and we're in downtown Pendleton now. And this is what they sent me for my retirement, is to work out of that office and help get it up and going. We have an agreement that we've presented for on-call engineering services. It's something that is totally at the direction of the town as to what they want. It just gives an agreement in place. So if there's different things like community crossing grants, road stuff, any other kind of thing, services that the town might need, it just gets something in place so it's easier to engage us in those things. I'd love to do your water and wastewater, but 25 years I've been good friends with Petchall, and until you get rid of him, there's no way you're gonna wanna hire us, so he's a good guy. And that's it, that's what our agreement is for.
So ultimately, this is, we already have an agreement with Banning Engineering. They provide code enforcement and building inspection services for the town. This basically just expands and gives us the opportunity for anything that is within their wheelhouse if we're needing some on-spot engineering expertise or for community crossing grant, anything like that. This gives us just the ability to engage them without having to wait and come to one of these meetings and get it presented.
Yeah, and again, we work for the town, we love working for the town, we're close by in Pendleton, and it would be, this agreement is totally at the direction of the town, and we're not gonna do anything until we're asked to do it, so. And we would have task orders that would be executed for that work that we would do.
All right. Anyone on the council have any questions?
So this is pretty much just, we need it, we call them, and they do it.
Right, that way we already have an established set of fees. We know what the cost should be.
So a la carte kind of basically.
Yes, so,
And I would say we do this with a lot of towns. We have this type of agreement with the town of Danville, with a number of towns. And what we do when we do that, like in Danville, half of our business is municipal, the other half is private, doing subdivisions and site development work. But when we're the person that does work for a town, like in Danville, we don't do site development work in that town because we don't want it to have any kind of appearance of any kind of a conflict. So, but we have a number of these that we do with different communities.
I did have one question, Chad. I noticed in the contract it indicated that there would be someone who is a designator approver for the task orders. How does that work? Is that like up to a certain anticipated dollar amount? Is there like a stop?
Oh, so that somebody just doesn't spend $90,000 on engineering services?
Yeah, and then, and, you know, it just turns into that, and then, you know, is there like a do not exceed on each task order? Is there some sort of like?
So I think typically the way we do it, and I'm going into memory bank here, and William can tell me if I'm crazy or not. So typically, if we engage them for something, it's a, you know, hey, we need this thing looked at. They're going to give us spend, you know, the $150 for an hour to look at it and say, well, that's a $10,000 project, and then come to us with that information. Would be.
And I think that's general understanding can decide at what level do you want it to have to come to a meeting versus at what level someone else can just make a decision.
Or even just like more approval than just one designated approver. Cause like, who even would that be? I mean, I think in some circumstances it might be Jenny and others maybe you, depending on what the project is maybe. Like if it gets over a certain dollar amount, should there be more than one set of eyes on it? If it's, I don't know, how's it work?
What do you recommend on that one, Mr. William?
I was gonna say that any of the engineering projects probably would fall under the umbrella of the different liaisons. So you guys would each have authority under that to be able to address the specific concerns. I don't disagree with the sentiment that maybe there should be a cap on it, whether it be written or just an agreed, you know, if we're gonna spend 30 man hours of an engineer's time on something, then maybe we should bring that to the council before having them do it. But however you guys would like to implement that policy,
Do we use our existing purchasing guidelines?
I would say that they would apply here for sure.
We do the same thing. I'm on the board of Main Street Pendleton, and we have the same thing. If it's in our budget, it's a line item, it's approved, then we just have to have one of the officers of Main Street. If it's something else, then we have to get approval of the actual board itself to get stuff done. So we do something kind of similar to that.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And I
So we would use our
Yeah.
current approved
Right,
purchasing
so we would
guidelines.
be-
Okay.
So any of us could, the liaison would approve it to at least have them look at it, and then we can go from there, see where it falls and go from there.
And yeah, on these task order, you know, if it's something we can define a value, a dollar amount, we would do that. So you would know how much it is going to be on each purchase order.
I'm just thinking like one of these right-of-way projects, you know, that last contract was a lot. And to just be like, oh, well, we're gonna just go ahead and we've got this going on, let's just do it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I can assure you, we would be in touch with Jenny or whoever the other contact person would be, even if it was hourly, to make sure you knew where we were at any point in the time in case you thought it was getting out of line. And we've done this with, you know, inspections and stuff, and I think we've treated you pretty fairly, so we would do the same thing with this as well.
I'd say just us personally, just going along the lines of, kind of like we talked about last night in the workshop, just telling people what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
I asked
what
them
she
to
was
do
saying was
this.
like, you know, she
Yeah.
didn't want to approve for 30,000, you know, so if we follow the purchase agreement, then anybody can have them look at something.
I could see like with not having that initial like, hey, I looked at this and it's probably gonna cost this much.
Hey, everybody, I had a whole redo of 20 roads in town done.
Yeah, but I mean, not realizing, like, I could easily approve something, not realizing what it could entail if there was not that stopgap of something to say. Or not even, just being so new, not even necessarily knowing what the scope of my authority even is on it, so.
All of our business is based on relationships, and we want this to be long-term, so I can guarantee you, we're gonna make sure if it's something that even we think is maybe a little bit larger, we're gonna make sure it's got the right approvals before we go forward with it.
Okay.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion to approve the master service agreement with Banning Engineering.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
Thank you,
very
sir.
much. Watch out for this guy, though.
Yeah, it gets expensive when he talks. All right, Cronin Associates, financial services proposal. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Jared Hall, Cronin Associates. Thanks for having me tonight. We'll see each other here a couple of times throughout the agenda, but appreciate you having me up here. Before you is an engagement letter, very similar to what Jeff provided. Obviously, it's financial related services. And working with Teresa and Jenny, kind of talking about the town, what's going on. Areas you guys could use some assistance and some support on. I know one of the recent topics, and it's coming up here soon, is the budget process. So I kind of specifically highlighted some scope work in there. However, the contract itself does allow for effectively any on-call services that we can provide, which there's a whole number of them. And I try to lay them out in that Exhibit C, just to kind of give you an idea. But, our position with this, and really all of our engagement in the community is to provide supporting roles to the town and the officials of the town. Everybody's different. And I know, like Dan, can speak to, every community has different needs when it comes to us. So the amount of work that we're involved or not involved depends, right? And so without kind of working through that, all those little details, what I put in here was laid out kind of the potential scope, some of the stuff that we could do. It's up to you guys. But I put basically like in a not to exceed related to that budget work. So I talked about a couple of things, obviously kind of going through the budget from a fundamental, making sure, you're doing it accurately, making sure you're getting all the resources that are available to you. The other, and frankly, most important piece is to make sure that a budget that you establish is sustainable and can be maintained for, hopefully, years to come, right? That's one piece of it, which that can be, and I talked about a little bit in like a 5-year sustainability plan, cash flow model, which obviously takes into account future capital outlays, things like that. I also included in there like a budget 101 training session. So I don't know how much training you, the council, have received. And a lot of times I see it's not enough. And I know you guys have to make the decisions, right, for the town. And so one of the things that I think is important is making sure there's at least like a high level understanding of like where the resources are coming from, what resources are available, and what you can spend it on. So that's in there as well. Like I said, I put a not to exceed 30,000. I'm very confident that we can provide all the budget services you could possibly want for less than that. Like Teresa and I discussed, if it ends up being you just want a little bit of help checking, reviewing, and none of the other extra stuff, like that's fine. Like I don't want to sell you something you don't want, right? So, but obviously we're always happy to provide those additional services. So under this, we would just charge you based on the time invested.
Actual time.
Which is how we do I think I may have one engagement in the whole business that we have like a fixed fee kind of set up. I don't want to charge for something I'm not doing, but I also want to be compensated for work I'm doing. So to me, it's the fairest way to go about it. So that's what, happy to answer any questions or dive in. We have a extensive experience in this. So we've been, I haven't, but this has been around for 40+ years. I'm sure a lot of you know Buzz, our founder. We have a great team. I know Teresa's worked with some of them, and we've done good work and, everybody seems happy, so.
So right now, if I understand correctly, this is a question for our clerk treasurer. So currently, everything that they've proposed to do here, this person helps us with from this company, and we have a person over here, and actually Crohn's is one of the folks that we would use. This is basically bringing all of those things under one umbrella for one person for the town to rely on.
That
And
is close.
they become a little more of a partner, for lack of a better term, to go over things, putting an eye on things, kind of the same way maybe the State Board of Accounts would an audit or anything, to just help protect us and make sure that everything is correct and that we're moving in the right direction. Is that
Yeah.
a good summation?
That's a good suggestion. I have already used them some, under their other contract, and they helped me with, okay, all the Boney Mellon bank statements were never put in to Gateway. And I got dinged on the audit for that because I didn't know they needed to be in there. So Michelle came in and we spent one whole day just uploading them, because they all had to go in the fund and receipted in, spent out, like to Atlas, all of them did. So I am very confident with their knowledge as well. They've just been a good help. I had one bank rec, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get it to balance, and finally I called Michelle, and she's the one I work with more on that, and she come over, and within an hour we were both like, oh, there it is, it's, and they're close. I mean, Jared's in Noblesville, and
Yeah, I
she's,
used to run around over here when I was younger, friends lived over here, so.
I just like the idea of working with somebody that's close. They're only gonna charge us when we use them, not like a flat,
$40,000.
yeah, we're gonna charge you this much to do, cause most of the stuff, and I was I was elected to do a job. I feel I'm the one that needs to be doing the job, whether they need to teach me a few things along the way. But I just feel it's my responsibility to do it, not to pay somebody else to do it and then me sign my name at the bottom. So that's my 2 cents.
Their services would be very helpful in a community to the northeast of us that has recently had some issues. If they had a partner like Crohn's, they wouldn't be on the news. Is that a good way to put that?
Easy, Eddie.
Yeah. All right.
The one concern that I have, Chad,
Christie, use your mic.
Yeah, put batteries in it.
the one concern that I had reading this agreement over, and I just want to clarify, I couldn't tell you exactly how many times, but it felt like 47 times in this agreement, they said, we don't validate the information.
They can't.
So, but I would hope that within their expertise, if they saw something that didn't look right, they would stop and say, hey, this doesn't look right, are you sure this is right? Can we double check this? I mean, because it sounds like they're not attesting to the accuracy, they're just saying, we'll show you the process. Am I?
Yeah, I'll be happy to speak to that, and, without trying to lawyer it up, right, the agreement, but also like try and make it, so as CPAs, right, we're held to a standard in which we will always meet and match that, like, this is what we do, like, this is how I feed my family, this is all we do, we work with cities and towns, so like, take it very seriously. That language is in there to say, for those of you that maybe know or don't know, like in the CPA standards, we have levels of attestation, so audit, review, compilation. Audit means I'm auditing you, I have the infrastructure set up to do that. We don't provide audit service. Nobody in my business that does, well, the big one does, but it's because they're an international company and it's a separate arm. But so we don't audit, we don't review. So it's me saying that, like, I'm not legally attesting to, based on my CPA standards, that the information is in a certain form. It's like format and rules and stuff like that. What I am telling you is that when we see a problem, we're gonna speak up, if you're not aware. So it's not to say that, it's, 100%, like, and we've talked about this, like, one of the things I think my job is to do, and Teresa touched on it, is to teach her to do her job. We as a firm, like, our goal is to not say, oh, no, Teresa, we'll figure it out, we'll do it, and then you just sign it. We'll teach her to fish, keep her happy, let her do her job, and then call me when you have a question. Like, I mean, that's what this relationship is about. We'll do more, obviously we'll do more, but like, the goal is not to take it away from Teresa to do her job.
Yeah,
And so all that language is kind of just wordy stuff to say, we're not gonna provide like this audit or review.
that makes sense. I was just thinking, you know, when we elect people to that position, I think it's a rare thing that you would elect somebody who necessarily is a CPA or has, you know, something. You're electing a resident, a citizen, and they have to learn from the bottom up, and they're building upon historical, whatever's been done before they get there. So, yeah, they think what they're doing is right, and they're not gonna know until someone tells them it's not, if it's not, you know? So that's kind of where I was at, is like, well, I don't want us to just like, if there's a mistake, then, no, it's not really our place.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's.
Keep
the
going.
case. Yeah, we'll definitely, yeah, and that is a very common thing. Like, even people that have had businesses and run their business,
Mhm.
fund accounting isn't intuitive.
Right, I'm
It's
learning
not,
that.
like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it does make sense to me, because this is what I've done, but, people off the street, it doesn't.
Any other questions? All right. In that case, I would entertain a motion to approve the accounting and financial consulting services contract with Cronin Associates not to exceed $30,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Before we move on to the public hearing, just a quick note for anybody that picked up a paper agenda at the door. The ones that we got printed, there are some incorrect ordinance numbers. The ordinance for the Cume Cap Fund is actually 2026-03, and the water utility rate is actually 02. They were superimposed. All right. With that little thing said, at this time, I will pause the regularly scheduled meeting. What did I forget? Oh, D, I apologize. D, we're gonna back up. ADA transition plan, Madison County Council of Governments, sorry. I apologize completely.
All right, good evening. I'm Ryan Phelps with the Madison County Council of Governments. I'm one of the principal transportation planners there. I apologize, I wasn't available to make it to the meeting last month, but I know we had a couple of people from our office here talking about our ADA Title VI program.
Sorry.
You're fine.
It goes off till I open it. All right,
There's extra here.
that's not good. Okay, carry on.
So I put together just a quick one pager, just to kind of recap, the ADA Title VI program, that was presented last month, and some of the deadlines for why it's kind of important. So it's really heavily tied into the Community Crossings Matching Grant Program. The town needs to have an updated ADA transition plan and a Title VI implementation plan in order to start applying for CCMG funds. And so previous two speakers saved me a lot of time. Our program is built to be an on-call task order-based contract. So it falls very similarly. We've provided an estimate of what 3 different phases plus the Title VI plan would cost. But we execute it as a contract that is overarching. We provide a couple of different services within that. So the base services are coordination for ADA and Title VI questions, documentation, so maintaining your 2 documents, and then inspection, so that if something is updated, let's say that a curb ramp is installed within the town, we come out and we inspect it and make sure that it's going to meet all of the standards that are required for NDOT and the federal and federal requirements. So all of that's built into the program automatically, and then we execute individual task orders within that to update your plan kind of as we're going, because there are, the last time it was done was in 2012, 2013, and I actually did that plan when I was
It was
first starting
really
off the
good.
Council of Governors. It was okay, but it's 14 years old. It absolutely needs to be updated. Those plans need to be updated every 3 years, quote unquote. Although really it's annual. NDOT wants to see annual updates if you're going to continue to apply for CCMG funds. This is a time-sensitive topic because Jenny would love to apply for CCMG funds next year. In order to do that, you guys need to have an updated ADA and Title VI plan to submit by November 1 and October 1 of this year. So we have talked internally within our team to make sure that we could hit that deadline. We believe that we can, so that you'll be able to apply for CCMG funds next year. But we're definitely pushing the bounds of when we can get that done. So this is kind of our general recap of how it all works. Also, since the last meeting, we did go ahead and take a look at our cost estimates again. And so you'll see on this memo just a revised cost from what we had last time. And really, I think what we're asking for is basically approval for executing the overall task order contract, and then 2 task orders will have to be implemented immediately. That's the curb ramp inventory and then the Title VI plan. We can get those kind of up and running as quickly as possible. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Teresa, where do we have funds available for this, since it falls into typically probably road and street, motor vehicle highway related, but
Our MVH is used to pay for payroll. MVH restricted cannot be used for it, so that leaves local road and street, which has $132,917.43 in it.
And similar to the other contracts, by the way, the overall contract has a built-in not to exceed value. And we wouldn't do phase 2 or 3 yet. That would be coming probably next year. Typically, we execute these as a 2-year contract and then.
so it wouldn't be all 28,000
No, not
this
all at
year.
once. No. No, we were talking probably the 3250 for the Title VI plan and the 8275 for phase 1. Those would be the only 2 amounts for this.
On the immediate. Okay. Well, I know the redevelopment commission has money set aside that can be used for part of this. Obviously, we couldn't present that to them till next month, but I think with the way that it's presented, we probably can afford to authorize it, and then we can find a commitment from them next month. Since, like I said, it's already built into, this type of service is already built into the redevelopment plan for this year.
Is this for the whole town?
Yes.
So phase 1, right now, like you said, just this year, that's the total, the 92 whatever and change, right?
8275, that's the revised cost.
Well, but I mean, those are the lines we're looking at, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, phase 1 and then the Title VI at the bottom.
What is the Title VI again? I'm sorry.
The Title VI implementation plan lays out all of the Title VI requirements for the town. So we look at things like, what are the programs that you have that are available? What's the organizational structure of the town? And then keep track of things like staff training.
And this is with you guys doing 100% of it. I know we talked about
Yes.
trying to do some other.
Yeah,
things.
we looked at how we could revise the cost, doing kind of a hybrid inventory. There's not a lot of cost savings there, and it's gonna cost you a lot more time and money for Jenny's time than it is for the cost savings. So I didn't even include that line item, though we did look at it. I think it was like, I think we could shop like $500 off or something like that. But that's about all we had.
Well, the good news is it's only half to do.
It's what?
It's something we have to do. So, I feel strongly that the redevelopment commission would kick in, a good chunk of that, to help offset, but especially if it's split between half of it this year, half of it next year, I think that makes it, we would be approving the whole thing, but we'd only be engaging half the cost this year and half the cost next year, correct?
Correct,
Yep.
yeah.
And we
And
could-
if there was a change in the cost for those other couple of phases, when we bring a task order to, well, I bring it to either Jenny or, Jen. So,
Both of us?
yeah, or both of you, it lays out like what's the timeline for this task order to be completed, what's the budget associated with just this task order, and then it gets signed as well, so. So the contract as a whole doesn't necessarily adopt this whole list of phases.
And on the off chance that redevelopment didn't approve it, we could cover it elsewise out of the.
No.
Yeah, we had it to cover.
If you did start, you'd start phase one, punch in would be when?
As soon as we get an executed contract.
And
The sooner the better, so that we can get out in the field and start getting that inventory.
if you did it in two phases, punch out would be,
No later than October 1st for the Title VI plan, no later than November 1st
for
for
the.
the ADA transition plan.
Okay, thank you.
The sooner the better for those. They open the submission window on July 1st. And so if we can submit drafts on July 1st, then we can get feedback from NDOT before kind of
Before we
the
finalize.
finalized version.
Right.
So.
Yep.
So the
Technically.
quicker that we can get it done and submitted over to them, the better.
Next week.
Well, I would make a motion, to approve, the agreement with Madison County Council of Governments, in the amount of $28,775 for phase 1, 2, 3 and Title VI, of updating our ADA plan.
Second. Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Got that done yet?
Did you bring a contract with you by the?
I just bring the contract, there's a couple of things that we need to tweak
Okay.
in it. Need to make sure I have the right signatory and then the right, contact for notice.
When you get it, can you email it to me so I can take it to Chad for him to sign?
Yep.
I'll give him the card.
All right. Now that I had to practice running this earlier, I'm gonna go ahead and pause the regular meeting, and open the public hearing, for the second hearing of our Okra wastewater project. Mr. Kleinpeter? Oh, and Mr. Cutshaw.
Good evening, council. Mike Kleinpeter, Kleinpeter Consulting. I've got Joni Fitzwater with me here as well. This is our second public hearing regarding our wastewater grant application. The town will be applying for a grant in the amount of $750,000 and will be contributing a local match of $2,300,000 in the form of a bank loan. We have a proposal due to Okra on April 3rd. Okra then came out here, met with a group of us, and they said that your application has to be 95% complete in order to be able to move to the next phase. We met that requirement and we're asked to proceed with a full application. That full application is due on June 5th. We want to make sure that citizens are fully informed about the project and have an opportunity to ask any questions they may have. Funds available for Okra are limited and applications are very competitive. If the town is successful with their application, award announcements will be in September of 2026. With that, I'll turn it over to Dan to talk about the project.
All right, I'll be brief since this is a rehash of what we talked about last time. So the project is lining sewers. Just as a check what we did previously, we've done flow meter testing and smoke testing. And what that showed was you have about 4 times the amount of flow at your treatment plant when it rains. and you don't have a lot of inflow sources. It's mostly infiltration, which would indicate that you have broken pipes and cracked pipes and leak joints, things like that. So we're going to take a pipeline and line those pipes so that they'll have a 50-year renewed life. And we're going to do about a third of the town. It's in the northeast corner of town. And so I think we talked last time, somebody asked me about when we would get it, when we would get bids. Probably won't be till late this year, and it'll be early next year. Anybody have any questions?
And the area that is being focused on is the area where we saw the most influx in the flow testing, correct?
Yeah. Well, yes, but it's all over.
Yeah.
Actually.
I think, Chad, you were at the meeting, but we met the 95% completion, but one of the things they said a couple times during the meeting with them is they said, we need some more letters from residents. If you have issues flushing your toilet when it rains, if you have gurgling toilets, if you have had basements backing up, any photos and letters will help us. I think those were the two things they really harped on. We're gonna post the resident survey again online. I was talking to Stanley back here. We're gonna get that posted again, so that way we got one last dash. It is due June 5th. We will be submitting at the end of the month. So if you have anything, please get it to Teresa. But I really think we just need a couple more letters, and then if anybody's has any photos, we can go back up to 5 years. So if you don't have recent photos, that's okay. In the letters, some things to think about is, I talked about gurgling toilets or backup in basements, or just how has your family been impacted regarding wastewater issues that you may be experiencing. So please take a moment to send an email to us. It really does make a difference. That's all I have for today. Be happy to answer any questions.
This is a public hearing, so anybody from the public that would like to ask questions of Mr. Kleinpeter or Mr. Cutshaw or anybody else that's on the dais up here, feel free to hop up, state your name, and ask your question. Go for it.
Trevor Kress, I know you said that it's a 50-year lifespan on that lining. Is that a guarantee that if we go back and survey in 30 years that we're not, I know the town did some stormwater mitigation almost 20 years ago.
When we design infrastructure systems, we look at 20, 30, and up to 50-year life. The contractors typically will not guarantee 50 years. In 50 years, that contractor may not be in business. We typically will get a 1 to 3 year guarantee on the pipe. But I've been doing this my entire career, and I've been doing this for 39 years. I've never seen one go back and have a failure on this type of, if you want to look it up, there's a couple companies that do it, Inliner and In Situ Form. Both of those do it. It's like an inverted pipe, and they heat it up with either hot water or steam. And it hardens, and it will go through all kinds of pipe, all kinds of sizes.
It basically just creates a seal inside. So if this original clay pipe was cracked, it creates a new liner on the inside.
It's actually structurally, does not need a hose pipe to depend on the structural. It is structurally sound, even if it goes through an area that has no pipe. Sometimes that happens, where there's pipe missing or completely broken. It'll go right through that, and it is structurally sound by itself.
Is there an estimation on the areas that are selected, how much that might reduce our usage or our influx?
I think you guys asked that question. That's really hard to quantify. And you're doing about a third of the system. We did a project where we lined the entire system about 3 years ago, and they had about a 20 to 30% reduction in flow. And that would be a big deal here if we could get that. But we're doing a third. So we still have 2/3 left.
Dan, one of the questions they asked us during that site visit is, what happens if we do nothing? Like, are resident sewers gonna get worse, or what are the consequences?
Well, sewers never get better. You know, they're old. They're never gonna get better. It will get worse, and it will overrun the wastewater treatment plant. So those are the consequences.
The additional consequence is, right now, if we updated our sewer treatment plant to be able to handle the actual flow and the influx, it's a $50 million project that would still have all the influx. So, our other limitation is we're getting in the vicinity of where IDEM will tell us we're not allowed to build or add anything to the system. So no more new houses, no more new businesses, no more anything like that. So the ability to stop influx this way should hopefully gain us a greater cushion and still allow us to do more development in the meantime until we can get a $50 million project engineered, paid for, all of those things.
And the last thing, Chad, Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe when we did the last rate analysis, we looked at this project and we factored that into the rate increase already. So this was accounted for. It's not, you're not gonna hit with another increase. This was part of the project that was accounted for. Chad, is that correct?
That's if we go with option 4, correct? Or 3, the 2 point.
It's $3,050,000. Option 4.
Right.
Report.
Yeah,
And that's what we're doing here is option 4.
right,
So I just wanted the public to know that
right.
what the plan was. This is something we've been planning for a couple of years now, and we're finally at this stage.
My question for you, Dan, is through the years we've sat here and we've listened to discussions, I know in the past, it was brought up of if we relined, it's not gonna fix the problem. So why are we going with a relining?
When you say not gonna fix the problem, what do you?
I remember in the past, whenever we had the study done, there was a comment made that if we reline, it wouldn't necessarily fix the problem.
Well, the problem you're having, as Chad mentioned, is your treatment plant is near
At
capacity.
capacity, right?
Not at capacity. It's, last year's flow, you're at 77%, okay? Lining it does give you that cushion, as Chad mentioned. These pipes are not gonna fix themselves.
Right.
There are broken pipe and a lot of leaks. And so you have two choices. Some communities say, we're not gonna worry about all the infiltration. We're gonna build a bigger sewer plant. That's kind of short-sighted, because the cost to do a larger treatment plant is exponentially higher than lining sewers. So lining sewers is spending your money wisely, because those pipes need to be fixed regardless of what you do to the treatment plant. So it is gonna fix those pipes. Now, you've got a lot of, if we're only doing a third, you still have a lot left to do. But it is a step in the right direction.
And if I've read that correctly, you're using HVAC, correct? To expose everything, or not HVAC, good lord.
Hydrovac or?
Hydrovac.
There's no excavation in this. It's all manhole entry and televised with a remote
With
TV camera.
Okay.
And so there's no excavation.
Sounds exciting to watch.
How did we arrive at the area that we decided to do?
Well, we did flow testing, and I think there were 5 basins. All 5 showed a very, very poor rate, 4 times the rate when it rained. And part of this was, so we could have done they're all bad. We picked this one, the low moderate. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so the Okra grant funds are for areas that are low to moderate income. And so based on that, the block group in this area from from the census tract was pretty low. And so we had to do an income survey, but we were eligible to do that income survey because it impacted that block group over there. So that's really, if we would have tried to do another area of town, we may not have been able to even attempt an income survey, because if they overlooks at your block group to see what percentage low income it is. And so by focusing on that area, it at least gave us an opportunity to pursue grant funds.
Just another question. What is, I guess a couple questions. What is the estimated age of our piping in these areas?
It's a good question. It's, there's some areas that are newer, I wouldn't say new. It's very similar to, I think, what your, water pipes are. They're about 60 years old. Most of your pipe is, in that age range is clay pipe. And, clay pipe, when that was put in, has 3-foot joints. So the clay pipe is only 3 foot long. And so that gives you a lot more places to have leaks. The newer stuff is all PVC, and the lengths of that are 18 or 20 feet. So the clay pipe in that era, when that was put in the 60s, it's 3 foot long, and it breaks really easy.
What's the estimated life expectancy of the newer stuff?
Like PVC?
Yeah.
30 to 50 years.
What's the plan for whenever you expose this and there's raw sewage laying underneath the sewer pipes? How are we gonna excavate? Where are we going? Is there an additional cost?
No, that's a really good question. We will bid this on a unit price basis. We have bid some of these projects where when they televise it, it is so poor that you cannot line it.
Right.
There are some that you cannot. And so we will estimate, or we're gonna ask the contractor to give us prices to do excavation in areas that it's necessary. Sometimes that does happen. And what that will do is that since we're doing unit price, that means a couple sections may not get lined. Because this other section we had to excavate because it was just so horrible.
Right.
We couldn't line it, so we have to delete maybe 1 or 2 sections to pay for it. So we won't go over the amount that contractor has. It'll be a not to exceed number, and it'll be all unit price. So we'll be able to pick and choose. May have to adjust during construction.
Good question.
I have some other questions, but that one just kind of, I mean, it didn't catch me off guard, but it did. Because of that, my brain started going a million other places. Bear with me here. Do you have any more?
I know we're talking this grant in this section. Is there a plan long-term to correct everything throughout the town? Like, are we doing this every couple of years, every year?
It's a great question. I don't want to speak for the council. For Okra, you can come in once every 5 years for the same utility. So I'm doing work in Connorsville, for instance, where we're doing a water main section this year, and the plan is in 5 years when we're eligible, we're going right back in for the next section. But there's certainly other options that we could go after. SRF, revolving loan fund, that's gonna be mostly loan fund, which are increased user rates. They do have some grant funds available, but that's an option. But to get in some of these programs, there's an expense, and sometimes it's like, is it worth all that expense to get in that program, not knowing we're gonna get something back? And that's why you got people like Jared on the team.
Any update to a utility is ratepayer funded. So as Dan explained, the cost of this project was built into our last sewer rate increase, that we knew this is gonna be done and it'll be covered based on the rate that we have. If we go to do a $50 million new sewer treatment plant, that's gonna have a rate study that has to be done. And then every ratepayer in town's rate will have to go up accordingly to pay that off over 30 years. So, and that's, we have to balance it, and we wanna make sure that when we do these things, we are taking advantage of whatever other funds, whether it be Okra, SRF loans that have lower interest rates, any of those kind of things. We wanna make sure that we're doing that as responsibly as possible. When we did the water project, we got 0% financing through SRF. The interest rate saved, and we refinanced all of our previous water bonds. The interest rate savings was greater than the cost of the overall project. So we try to take the advice of Mr. Clyde Peter, who does all of our grant writing for this stuff, and to say, okay, hey, here's the opportunity for us to be able to do that. You know, for water, we're 2 or 3 years out before we can go into the next round. You know, so it'll be do this one, do another water one, try to go back into sewer. There is a certain point where we have to look at it and go, we're gonna have to bite the bullet and do the $50 million project. But even if we do that $50 million project, we still have 2/3 of the pipes in town that are gonna have to be updated.
Do we get to a certain point when looking at these, that there's enough cracks in here, we just gotta replace all of them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, and
Well, if there's a crack on every 3-foot joint, we won't dig up and replace it. We'll line it. Because the lining, if the lining will go through a pipe, that's the best method. It's the most cost-effective method. It's the less disruptive method, because you're not excavating. And, I mean, if we had to excavate all these lines, I think we did I think it was like $7 or $8 million to do all that instead of $3 million. You wouldn't like, this room would be full. It would look like a bomb went off in Lapel. And it's no good.
construction's never fun, no matter.
Construction breaks things. So it's no good.
Yeah, unless you're starting brand new from scratch, and even then.
I got the feeling you got some construction experience
Yeah.
by your questions.
I got.
Yeah.
So you said if every 3 foot, it's not going to get lined. So since we already have that open, are you gonna replace, or are we going to replace the line at that time? Or are you just gonna cover it back up and keep on?
Well, there's no digging. Like I said, they go in
Right.
and run the thing, so they'll run the camera through and they'll determine, well, this one's no good, we can't replace it, or we can't
So
run
they're
it.
just gonna leave it then?
No, if it's in the area that we were gonna line and we can't line it,
Yeah,
there may be.
that's what I'm saying,
there
there's
could
gonna be excavation
That'll be
at that
excavation.
time. That was my, okay, that's what I
That's
thought.
correct. And typically on the excavation, they will only do a 20-foot piece, and that's it. Generally, you'll find that covers the pour break. Sometimes it goes and you gotta do 40 feet, but you're not generally doing the entire manhole to manhole.
Right,
But again, this is all stuff that's underground and nobody, I
It has
haven't
been
looked
there
at
a
it.
long time.
Nobody's looked at it,
right.
and we'll make those determinations once we televise all the lines. And that's part of the contractor's responsibility to do that.
Right. And then I also noticed, if I read the plans correctly, that the manholes was included in all that.
Yeah, we'll line the manholes because, the manholes, a lot of times they're old brick manholes and they leak like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And, so, yeah, we're gonna line the manholes with something similar. It's more of an epoxy coating, but it'll,
I know the one at the corner of Main and 11th is very interesting.
all right.
Well, yeah, that one's
So-
extra special.
Another question I had, you mentioned pictures, reports. is it just for what's in the home or does outside the property?
No, outside the property as well, because I've got some good photos of flooding, especially because that water's sitting there and just slowly leaking into our system. I just don't really have any pictures of in the home. I've heard stories and things, but we just didn't have any pictures of in the house stuff. And so they just told me to ask around, because I'm sure somebody does on their phone somewhere where they, can you believe this, and took a picture and sent it to their cousin or friend or neighbor, you know? So it's like, hey, there might be some pictures out there. So if we got them, it would really help us.
Okay. I will work on it.
There's a time limit.
Not a
So,
problem.
There you
I
go.
got what you need.
Any other questions?
All right, I will close the Okra wastewater project public hearing at this time and return to our regularly scheduled meeting. Take a drink of my Mountain Dew. And at this time, I will suspend our regular meeting and open up a public hearing for ordinance 2026-03, reestablishing the cumulative capital development fund tax rate. All right, so to explain, the Indiana Cumulative Capital Development, also known as a CCD fund, is a local government property tax that is used to help fund projects, purchases, and infrastructure improvements within municipalities to give them another fund beyond their general operating budgets. So this is money that could be used to replace air conditioner at town hall, put a roof on the utility barn, could be used to help with a project, could be used to buy a vehicle for, the police department. It has a lot of different uses, and it is governed under an Indiana code that does require that it gets established. I believe it's every year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you.
So, no, it's not every year now?
You want me to jump right in?
Absolutely. Crone, come on up and earn your
I
money.
think we may have, done this all anyways.
Yeah.
A little bit. Jared Hall, Cronin Associates. So the CCD, Cumulative Capital Development Fund, as Chad described, is primarily used for capital outlays, trucks, roofs, basically not salaries or power bills, things like that. It's a fixed tax rate. So one of these days we'll get into the deep dive of levy and tax rate, but it's a fixed tax rate that's assessed on the residents. You guys, you all set it at a certain level. The maximum is 5 cents. In the past, I want to say it's been about 4 or 5 years ago, you used to have to reestablish it every year, okay? And so if you set it one year and you set it at 5 cents, and that 5 cents generated $100,000 of levy in that given year, you go on to the next year, if you didn't reestablish it again, DLGF, Department of Local Government Finance, who's the one that reviews and approves the budgets, they look at that and they say likely your assessed value is going to increase, because that's typically what happens. The assessed value is going to go up. You cannot get more levy than the 100 grand, so the product of that is a reduced tax rate. You with me? That was a lot around. So what's happened over time, and you just have to reestablish that every year. If you didn't, that tax rate would just slowly decline to where it is today, which is, I have a note here, just give you some information on what it is for 2026.
When you're saying tax rate, are you referring to the CCD tax rate?
Yes, it is
Okay.
one of the tax rates that makes the cumulative tax rate of the town in combination with the county and the library and the schools that get assessed to homeowners, like on their home. So in 2026, your CCD tax rate was 1.7 cents, so 0.017.
Per $100 of assessed
per
value.
$100 of assessed value. That produced $20,225 for the town. If that levy was to be 5 cents, it would increase to $60,554. So it's not a windfall of money, but what we got coming here in the future with SCA1 and all the changes in legislation, it's our advice that you guys position yourself to be in a position to generate the resources you need to maintain your operations. So, you want to continue?
Go ahead, you might say what I want to say, but,
Well,
yeah.
My recommendation is that you all pass this resolution to have the ability to levy the 5 cents. It's not gonna require you to do it. When we get to the budget time in July, August, September, we can have the discussions whether you want to levy that amount and increase the tax rate up to the 5 cents, or if you want to leave it at the same level. Doing this gives you the ability to make that decision. Circling back, once you set it at 5 cents, now they changed the legislation about 4 years ago, then it stays at 5 cents. The ability to levy that tax rate. So you used to have to redo it every year, and if you didn't do anything, it would slowly decline, which is effectively what's happened. I'm sure I didn't do a deep dive into the history of your CCD tax rate, but it's declined over time. You're basically getting the same dollar amount. The town's AV is going up, so they're lowering the tax rate. This is just, honestly, this is like kind of standard operating procedure. Like most communities have done this
Forever.
well, they did it, they set it 3-4 years ago and it's there, and then now you can work within that range.
So the key thing on this is this does not increase anyone's actual property tax. So if my property tax bill was $1,000 a year, it's not now $1,050 if I'm capped at my 1%.
That's right, that is a correct statement.
Yes. So what this does is, like with anything, there's all the pieces of the pie in your tax bill. When you have, so if you have a house that's worth $100,000 and the county gets 66 cents and we get 40 cents and the township gets 10 cents, whatever that number comes out to, it might be $5. Anytime you're over whatever the 1% is on your property tax, they take away money from everybody based on how much of your property tax goes to them. So 30% goes to the county, whatever's over the maximum amount, 30% comes from the county, 10% from us, all of those things. So, and this is where I might get corrected. The CCD is protected against that, and it doesn't take away from that amount of money. That is still protected to come to the town. No? So that's not.
No, so then
It's still
it's
gets
still
affected.
factored into your piece of the pie. So all the money coming
Gotcha.
in is the pie. You make up a piece of that pie and how it's
Gotcha.
distributed.
But it's just giving us a little more of the pie.
And this is, as I mentioned, the numbers, it's $40,000 more, like over all of the tax base. It's, even if everybody had to incrementally pay more, which they're not, because probably most people are already at circuit breaker anyways, it's dollars, cents on most kind of traditional residential home. So this is really just to give the flexibility to when working through the budget, to have those resources available. The other piece of this is, my opinion, there's no true facts behind it, but with the way the state legislation is going, for those that I know, it's Wild West right now. So my recommendation is that we get ourselves in a position to have the max levy. So levy is the ability to charge people. It doesn't mean you're going to, so your max levy. So it puts us in a position, because the state might come in next year and say, you know what, we're getting rid of CCD as a fixed rate. They're just gonna roll whatever levy you had at that time into your max levy, and that's what you get. And so,
If we have it, we should get it.
yeah, and so you wanna be in a position to say, okay, fine, roll it in, but at least we're gonna get the 5 cents that,
Tacked on.
you know.
So yes, if you are at your 1%, 2%, 3%, this does not increase your tax rate.
That's right.
That's the important part. But it does help us out because it gives a little more money to Lapel than to the county, where we'd rather spend it.
Where are you guys hoping to spend this?
Right now, that is a budget decision time. We look at all the funds that we have and figure out where we have to spend it. So it may fund just about anything. We know we have an air conditioner issue starting at town hall, and that's gonna be expensive. So it could be part of that. It could be, just about anything that's not payroll or an electric bill, payroll or utility.
What I would say to answer your question is, this is not the time when we're gonna set the levy.
No, I realize that.
yeah.
I was just asking
No.
because I wanted to just make a mental note myself because, I mean, there's certain things that seem to get a lot more funds than other areas. So I was just wanting to know for my own mental note, that's all.
We don't plan where it's going until we know we're gonna have it. Is that a good way to put it? So if we know we're gonna get it, then we can budget it. So, but this is one of those things that, like, Jared said, has been around for a long time and was, it's money that you will get as long as you ask for it. And the problem is, for decades, the town didn't ask for it.
Right,
So,
or gave it away.
yep, gave it away to the county and the other entities,
Yeah.
so. Any other questions? Thank you, Jared. All right, at this time, I will close the second and last public hearing for the day and return to our regularly scheduled meeting. And then in our new business, we have ordinance 2026-03, reestablishing the cumulative capital development fund tax rate. Question for legal, is this a multiple read or is this approved on the first?
This should be,
It has to be approved on the first because it all has to be in by the end of the month.
Okay, so
Like
I know
have
some
to submit it
ordinances have to
tomorrow. Yeah.
go through that whole process. Gotcha. All right, at this time, I'll make the motion on this one, that we approve ordinance 2026-03, establishing the cumulative capital development fund rate for 2026 payable 2027 at 5 cents per $100 of assessed evaluation.
Second. Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes,
All right. Okay, next one is ordinance 2026-02. And this is on our water utility rates. So this one, we'll have a little bit of presentation on from Mr. Jared at Crone. Let me know when you're ready, and I'm going for fancy and putting the presentation on the video. Look at that. Got a double window and everything. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Well, Jared Hall, Cronin Associates.
All right, so obviously there's a lot of information that was covered there. And we'll go back to that for anybody referencing, the information, as to the irregularities and what this rate increase is for. So, and this is correct me if I'm wrong in how I state this. Ultimately, that billing irregularity for the last several years, what's the word I'm looking for? Artificially lowered the water bill of every other customer on the water system in town. So it's like your water bill for the last 5 years was subsidized by the one customer that had the billing irregularity. So what this does is we have to, as explained by law, we have to be able to cover our debts and our payments and all those things. So had this irregularity been caught during the last rate increase, it would have been applied there. This is to bring it up to where it's current. Everyone is adjusted and everyone's correct. Nail on the head? All right.
What's the last rate increase?
2021.
Yep.
That's what Chad coughs himself to death.
So, just for clarification's sake, for everyone that's watching, this rate increase, if it would been caught before the previous rate increase by the previous person in the administration side of the town, it would have been fixed. Is that a fair statement?
The rate would have been increased at that time.
At that time by the previous person that was doing the position that did this, correct?
Well, it was not caught by the company that did the rate study. So therefore it didn't come to any of us.
Right, that's
To
what
know.
I'm trying to clarify.
So,
It's
yes.
previous,
But
not,
yes, other than the members that were on the council at the time.
right, fair,
We had no idea because the rate study didn't find it and bring it to us.
right,
Had we known, we obviously would have had to take the action at that time.
right. So, okay.
Do you know where even at this new rate, where that puts us in comparison to communities around us? Off the top of anybody's head.
It's still lower.
How much do you pay a month?
Yeah, just across 69, I pay about 40% more than the new rate.
So we're still a competitive rate that is not
Right.
the most expensive around.
When will this new rate take effect?
Pretty quick.
June 1?
What's our time frame for meetings and
So
ordinance and all
tonight
that?
is the introduction.
Yep.
You guys would, I'm trying to think of the word, like, we have to have a public hearing and adoption, which,
Right.
I think is at the next meeting
Yeah,
or.
so we can have a public hearing. Of course, we have to notice that 10 days, so everyone in the public.
So we can have a special meeting for a public hearing,
Yep.
or just a public hearing, however you want to word
You
that.
can, but we cannot advertise till this next Friday.
Yep.
So it would have to be at least 10 days
10
from
days
this
from
next
that.
Friday, you guys. And just my opinion, I think I would probably do it that way, so it's the only thing on there is the public hearing for it, and
I'd agree, and that would give us the opportunity to adopt that ordinance at the next town council.
At the June meeting.
Yep. And then I think it's my understanding, we would need a little bit of time to do correct adjustments and whatnot, to implement it in practice.
So, yeah, if a rate adjustment was adopted, we'd send the ordinance to the software company
Takes them
and they would
6
have to
weeks.
update it. And then depending on how that falls with the billing cycle, like how fast, I mean,
So essentially, you're looking at fall. If you're saying it takes 6 weeks for
I can
the,
probably push it through quicker than that, but we bill every 30 days, so it would probably go into effect for the bill that goes out August 1st.
Fall.
I call that summer.
It'll be hot.
It's gonna be hot,
It's
yeah.
gonna be hot, yeah.
From a financial perspective, like I know it's not the favorable, but like they're losing I mean, they don't have.
No,
So like the recommendation is effective immediately as soon as
Right.
procedurally,
right,
Possible.
you know,
right.
um,
The reason I asked was because as we've mentioned before with other subjects, how are we gonna get this information out to our residents in an accurate, timely manner? I mean, I'm just me, but I would definitely volunteer to go door to door and start hanging stuff again. Because in today's world, and somebody that works with money every day and listens to people and their hardships every day, people are struggling. And it's clear across the nation. And it doesn't matter if it's the richest of the rich or the poorest of the poor. People are struggling right now. And I know that this is unfortunate and that because you guys didn't know about it, but at the very least you guys can do is push out the information. Yes, it's gonna suck because there's gonna be people out there that's gonna be furious. And our elderly community are not gonna take it well because they're on a fixed income. But at this point, then the very least we can do is push out information to let our residents know of the rate increase, because don't we have another, don't we have another sewage increase or something coming up?
October.
Yeah, so we need to inform our residents and keep that transparency, and I will gladly I will gladly help get this information out how I can, because elderly people aren't always on Facebook. They don't know how to access YouTube. Not everybody comes to the town hall. So I feel like as a town council, the very least you guys could do is take a vote to do a flyer brigade and we can get our golf cart together again. I mean, we've got to figure out a way to get it out.
We can put it on the utility bill.
Yeah.
That way, when the people get the utility bill, hey, information, special
But
meeting
how
and all
how
those.
many people get a digital utility bill now? And
Well, no, it goes on the paper. We have the ability to put all kinds of stuff on the paper bill that goes out.
that's what.
Yeah, you gotta, they'll do stuff.
Okay,
Yes, I remember that's one of the features we paid for.
okay.
But my question is, how many people are signed up for digital
Even if you
billing?
get a digital bill, it still looks the same as the bill you get in the mail.
I just always pay it, I don't look.
I'm just
It has
saying,
all the little
I
notes
don't-
and everything. You look at it,
Yeah,
you say,
where's the one?
look at your
Right.
invoice, it'll
Yeah.
show it all.
Can
we can do a flyer for when we come up with the special meeting. I see that being a very good idea myself.
Yeah.
Whenever the special meeting is going to be, then we go door to door like we did with
Yeah,
Dan's last ordeal. And we can put flyers on
right.
doors.
But the important thing on this one is, and that's why, we're getting in front of everybody, we're not pulling any punches. We're telling you exactly what happened. Because it's a very unfortunate thing that was discovered that, there's two ways to look at it. It's either thank you, error, for saving me money for the last few years, or I would have much rather been used to that by now. It all depends on how somebody manages their finances. So yeah, getting the information out there as best we can is very important on this one. And just a side note, this, to clarify, no part of this increase is to cover anything with the billing irregularity, clarifying this. So it's not like the town are paying the person back that had the billing irregularity. That's all being handled in a completely separate manner.
But Lisa brought up, she's from town hall, has been talking about the newsletter, so she is gonna start doing that. So we're gonna work on that. That's something we can at least include in
Yeah.
the flyer from
Big
that
front page.
in there. And Dan Polly's gonna help us with that too, with some templates, so.
Do we have the ability to investigate to see if there's any resources for people who are really gonna struggle with this, that we can direct them to have on hand for like, you know, I know the light company does like water, like electricity audits and,
Stony, well, yeah, for anybody that lives in the Stony Creek Township portion of town, that's on the water, that would be the Stony Creek Township trustee.
but I mean, as far
Our
as,
water customers are still.
Yeah, oh yeah, I guess it is, all of them, nobody's down there.
is there any like, grant or service or anything that will do like free, you know, give them free resources on how to check for leaks and reduce usage and,
That I have
I would
no
like
idea
to,
about.
on that note, I would like to point out that this might be an excellent time to talk to Klein Peter about this, because South Madison County Community Foundation, they have just opened up another new grant. It's supposed to be very easy to apply for, and one of the, let me pull it up. I just had it up just the other day. Well, maybe if my internet will work in here. But one of the things is to help communities, gosh darn it, I don't want to misspeak. There we go. Grants. Or you have to apply by the 5th of every month. It's a Bright Future grant, but it addresses any unmet needs. And do we have where'd it go? Are we considered 509A1? We're not?
No.
Because it's a public entity for projects that serve charitable purpose. So if we could set up this type of a option, then we could perhaps be eligible for this grant to, per se, save it for people that are in need, that aren't gonna be able to pay this. And one of the grants that it offers is between $2,000 and $10,000. And it expands physical space, interpersonal connections, addresses unmet needs, encourage lifelong learning. That obviously doesn't help with this situation, but with unmet needs, that would help.
Right.
So if we could apply for that and not let this go by us by the 5th of the month, then, you know, we might be able to help our elderly community that suffers, or even the younger community that is experiencing a hardship. But it's supposed to be a very streamlined grant. They have $14.6 million to invest in Madison County.
Jenny, would you be able to look at that?
Yeah, I should reach out
Awesome.
and ask them if this is something that.
Would qualify.
Would qualify.
And then if we need to jump through some hoops to get to where we qualify, if we need that 501 9er C, what, my A1C check, yeah.
do we still keep the angel fund? We still have that? Is it, do people use it? I mean, does it?
The only person that really used it has passed away.
I mean, is it still like,
Capability.
do people contribute to it? Do the people know it's there?
It's always just been a fund in my fund report.
Okay.
I think it was open, I don't really know why it was open specifically, because that's not, we called her the angel donator, and when she donated, she just paid directly to people's bills. We didn't put it,
Oh,
it's not ever really had money in it, as long as I've been here, because I've not been
In your couple years.
yeah.
but she would know, like, somebody would say, hey, my bill's like.
She would actually call in and say, hey,
Who can I pay for?
yeah, who can I help?
Gotcha, okay,
That's the only donator like that I know of.
okay.
All right, so this is not a public hearing.
Oh, sorry.
No, but it's an important enough topic that we're allowing the discussion. So I just wanted to point out, this is not the official public hearing. That's the thing we need to schedule in 2 weeks. So, anybody else have any, last questions on this for Jared, before we get to the actual ordinance? All right. So the actual business item here, thank you, Jared, that we have here is ordinance 2026-02 for our water utility rates. And basically, this is, we're gonna go by title on this here, ordinance 2026-02, an ordinance amending ordinance 11-2021 amended, establishing new rates and charges for the use and services rendered by the waterworks system in the town of Lapel, Indiana. The information contained in the presentation that was given out, these will be, if you'd like one, you can stop by town hall. We do have some here that have been handed out tonight, and we have more. So anybody that would like to see that information, stop by and grab it. We can email it to you. Any of those things are an option. So at this time, would entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2026-02, amending our water rates. Or the introduction of this.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes. I have a question,
Oh,
Chad.
sorry, one quick. And we also have the very, very, very boring, very detailed report that you can collect as well, if you really like looking at numbers and commas. And he did a fine job on it. Yes.
It's a related question, but it's for Dan.
Okay. Go ahead.
So in the very, very detailed report, one of the things that was kind of shocking was the water loss. And I kind of looked up what's the average for a town our size, and it's significantly higher. And I did look up, of course, what causes that.
That's it. I saw.
But it still seemed a little higher than what.
answer that?
Yeah, so I guess my question is, what can we do to identify what's causing that?
Okay, so water loss is so right now it's 32%. Brandon puts together a water loss audit, and we do have unaccounted for water that we know about. We'll call non-revenue water. That reduces it to about 25%.
That would be fire hydrants.
Fire hydrants, we did a tank painting and we had to run hydrants for blow off pressure. Flushing is non-revenue, but we can estimate the amount. So it's really 25%, not 32. Typical towns this size are probably in the 10 to 15%. I've seen as high as 45 to 50. There are a lot of ways you can get it down. You spend a lot of money having listening devices and all kinds of different things. Best thing to do,
Wait for a drought.
No. You got 60-year-old, 70-year-old pipe, replace it. I mean, it's cast iron. It's not a 3-foot joint, but it's, a lot of those are 8-foot joints. And, the cast iron is leaking. And that's a lot of your water loss, more than likely. And so we do have a $9 million grant request, potential loan request in SRF that we'll know about later this summer to start replacing some of that main. But, you know, the water leaks out. There's nothing that will leak in. I think I've heard people ask, well, what's leaking? If it's leaking out, what's leaking in? It's under pressure. So it's not leak. There's nothing leaking in. You're losing water in the pipes.
So we've replaced we completed the water project that replaced what, like 18% of the main one, that
It
was
was in that ballpark, yeah.
And then we have previously updated sections that were, what, if I remember right, like another roughly 20%?
No. The 20% is what we're proposing coming up.
So what percentage of our current pipe would you
Oh,
say?
you're asking me.
Wait, here's what I'm
Hold on.
thinking. If we just updated 18% of our pipe, have we seen that would, you would think would translate to a significant reduction in water loss? If it's leaky pipe, have we seen that year over year in the study?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I've not looked at past reports.
We've been pretty consistent.
Has it been pretty
Has it?
consistent?
Okay.
It's because there's older stuff out there than what we were, the 18% what we replaced.
Mhm.
I don't 100% agree with why we replaced that section.
Yeah.
So and Dan's done a really good job of determining, hey, I think this section needs to be replaced, before this section. We kind of are on the same boat in agreement with that. To identify where, in the 10 years I've been here, I've had so many leaks over here, but we replaced this section for some reason. So
Makes sense.
I think the last time we kind of picked a section of town and went with it, we didn't really dive into it as deep as Dan has.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
The other thing that helps is meters. Meters don't get faster as they get older, they get slower, so you can lose some, but I think most of your meters are pretty new.
Yeah, and we're still in the process of changing everything over to Neptune.
Are we still on track to, I know that you're replacing so many a year, are we still doing that? I know it's stretched thin.
I haven't brought a quote to order another skid yet this year, because I'm not 100% sure the funds are gonna be there, but we've got a few left. I like to keep quite a bit on hand just to have, but yeah,
Would be something we would have considered in our rate study, right? Because it's an ongoing maintenance cost.
Well, kind of, not, this one wasn't the deep dive, this was more of the get us.
This is make sure we're compliant with the law.
Yeah. We will in a more comprehensive, true up.
So then what happens to rates then when we dive deep into the?
It goes back to anytime we talk about upgrading the system, it falls on the ratepayer.
Right,
So this is righting the wrong
right.
and making sure we stay compliant with the law. Those are all things that as we need to replace and do, like the $9 million SLRF project, that we really hope they'll be like, here's $9 million free dollars, knock yourself out. We're not holding our breath on that one. But if they come back and say, well, we're gonna give you a 0% loan, or we're gonna give you $5 million, but you have to do the whole $9 million project, however that whole crazy thing works, there will have to be a rate study done to
Right.
actually move forward with that.
I realize that.
My concern with that, hearing that, is more along the lines of, there are certain things that we know beyond just replacing main that we're gonna have to do. I mean, we replaced one well, I think, or one pump, I think the other one has, what, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it like 5 or 6 years old already? And we rebuilt it, so,
Both
No,
pumps
well,
are good.
yeah, both pumps have been replaced recently.
oh, but replaced or reworked?
Replaced.
Replaced, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we know we're probably gonna have to clean the wells again, we're gonna have the water tower maintenance contract is pretty expensive, and we can't overlook that, that has to be done on the regular, I mean,
So the constant requirements to do,
yeah, I just wanna make sure that we're.
That would fall in the maintenance section.
right, which was what her question was.
Yeah.
Is that built into the maintenance? Is what you're
It's
saying when we do
because
the budget?
honestly, it concerned me that maybe it wasn't built in because so many of the things that we did, that we should have been doing all along, but that we did as a part of that all hands on
Right.
deck attempt, really didn't fall into being paid in 25. They were done at the end of 25, most likely paid in 26. So I just want to make sure that we're making sure we have enough money to continue that ongoing maintenance effort, so we don't end up back where we were.
Well, one of the things that's required of all utilities is an asset management plan. And the IURC has new rules for that. You have an asset management plan on water and sewer, but they're a little bit older. Those have to be updated every 4 years. And a lot of that, what you're talking about, the maintenance is included in that. And so those things have to also be considered in rate making.
Yeah, I mean, you do have $115,000 in here that is not specifically appropriated to anything.
And as I've said, we have things that if the water tower gets maintenance every 5 years, we do put money every year in the fund, whether it gets spent or not.
And
So-
that's awesome. I just wanna make sure the money we put every year in the fund is accounted for. That was.
We're dealing with a problem that started in the mid-80s, when we were flat out told we never planned for the town to grow.
I get you.
So it's, that's when the
Brandon,
sewer project was originally done.
Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying.
So,
Brandon, if you had to guess, how many more meters do you have to place to get everybody up on Neptune? Just guess.
I can answer that.
That's a yes.
390.
So
I just read them, she knows exactly. Yeah.
That
pretty
does not include, that doesn't include the big meters yet that need to be replaced, which we're starting to replace those as well.
And how many big meters? Yeah.
I believe there's right around 10.
So that's not bad.
And those are more.
Yeah, that's, so a couple $100 a meter, $60,000.
We can get 144 for around $42,000-$43,000.
buy my skid.
It's cheaper to buy by the skid.
Yeah.
And is that's just to replace the ones that need to be upgraded to the new
And it would-
system, but not necessarily replacing the ones that are coming to end of life? So what's a lifespan, 8-10 years on a residential meter?
Yeah, probably, yeah, about that.
The census ones that we're replacing right now were put in
About 10 years ago.
mm,
Maybe, well,
about 4 to 5 years ago because
yeah,
someone else wanted to go away from the Neptune and start putting the census in, and then
yeah.
now we're going back to all one time.
So we changed like the older meters, which have been like the old touch reads, we changed those first. I mean, those are our trouble ones, right? So those are already the oldest meters we had in the system, except for the bigger meters are mostly changed to the newer ones.
Gotcha.
Now we're just trying to get everything onto one system because we're paying for 2 systems to read meters and
Right.
it's easier just for one.
How many on the skid again?
144.
144 on the skid.
Give or take, that's
Well, I mean-
something was last year, it's probably a little higher this year, it goes up every year.
All right. Any old business? We have none listed. Department reports, chief. Your turn.
Everything should have been out online, just to go over the quick, we had a slight increase in calls for service, which we know is gonna happen. It's getting warmer, weather's getting warmer. We had a slight increase in total, criminal charges filed, we were at 22. Traffic citations issued, traffic warnings, relatively, those actually from month to month, usually stay relatively close. Investigative reports taken, we had 18. You can go through and see what we've got. Just a minor update on personnel, we got, Officer Lee is in the academy, in his 4th week. Our reserve, Megan is getting ready to get into 3rd phase, so she should hopefully be ready to be on the road here in 2 to 3 months is the plan. She continues to come in. I don't have anything else. It was just a pretty warm meeting.
Is the stabbing on your report?
Yes,
All right.
stabbing is on the report.
So, and this is, I wanted to bring this up very specifically because people are like, you had a stabbing in Lapel?
Oh, okay. So let me recover that. So
Yeah.
obviously,
Clarify.
if anybody watched the news, there was a big event that occurred very relatively close to our town. When that came out, because of the way that it came out, they requested assistance from everybody. So
every
we
police
did have
department
an
had a
officer.
stabbing.
we did have an officer that arrived on scene, that attempted to assist with, CPR. Obviously, that was unsuccessful. We pulled that officer aside. That was his first major event, and that was a doozy to go to. So we pulled him aside. We've had conversations. We've kept an eye. We've made sure that if, he needs any assistance, if he needs any help, that we're there for him. We've talked to him, but as administrators, we've talked to him. Some of our other senior officers have also talked to him, as well as I know there's some, critical incident trained officers in other departments that have reached out. And so we're making sure that he's taken care of, because obviously, walking into a double homicide is pretty tragic for your first major event. But that's the reason why that is on there. We did not have that in town.
But I just want to make sure that everybody so when a major event happens in the county, Anderson sometimes has some about every other day. If dispatch sends our department to it, it ends up on our list.
Yeah.
So, for anybody that sees that and is concerned, but that is just a point of clarification for everybody, that you don't have to worry if somebody's running around all stabby, in town.
And same thing, the hold up alarm, that was one that we were, and a lot of them too may come out and it's not easily identifiable, but the event may have occurred in Anderson and that's where it started. But what we get assigned to it and attached to it, but that doesn't mean that we always went to Anderson. That means that the car may be coming this way and we say, hey, we're attempting to stop. What's not on here? And just a couple of days ago, we had, state police was in a pursuit. And that was last night. Yeah. And then we had another one with the stop sticks a week. Obviously, as the weather gets warmer, we become involved in pursuits. And just because it starts in one area, we get attached. That doesn't mean that we went all the way to where it began. We try to protect our area the best we can. Again, we had another one last night. State police was chasing somebody. Our officer was able to get out. Unfortunately, the guy ran on foot, but state police did catch him. So just because it's on your report and it shows that we're attached to it, doesn't always mean that we're traveling halfway around the county to get there. But there are some things that do occur. Again, the stabbing that happened in Anderson, or the shooting happened in Anderson a couple months ago. We were attached to it. We were on our way. And then they found out that it wasn't as big as they were. They disregarded it, but it's still on our run log because we started that way. And quite honestly, there's no easy way for me to quantify or qualify that in a report, because it just breaks it down as it's assigned to dispatch.
Same way if we have something big go and we only have one officer, somebody else gets dispatched to us,
Right.
the lapel call shows
Mutual
up on
aid
there.
is a
Yep.
good thing.
Well, and I know I've mentioned this before, but in today's society, every department that's around us, that includes Ingalls, Pendleton, Edgewood, state police if they're available, county, very rarely does an officer go to any call other than a traffic stop where there's not at least somebody else starting that way. And that's what a lot of times happens to us as well. We'll report that we're starting that way, so it gets added. That doesn't mean that we always made it to that location. The officer on scene may say, hey, I've got it taken care of. All units can disregard. But we try to watch each other's back, especially in today's society when the officers are one person per car. We normally don't let just anybody go out by themselves. The good news is that's reciprocated from other departments to us as well.
I just want to make sure everybody understood that on the crazy, because I had people reach out. I'm like, nobody in town must have.
Yeah, yeah. And then, if you've seen the news today, I'll just bring this up now. Fisher's Fire Department was on its way to Stony Creek. I'm sorry, South Madison, forgive me, South Madison Fire Department to do training, and they had their semi-trailer, which is their task force, truck. it slid off the roadway. He was negotiating a turn.
Didn't quite make the turn.
It wasn't a crash, it wasn't an accident. I did release something back to Channel 13 to just identify that it was not a crash. There was no crash of the Fisher's Fire Department. Obviously, anytime that you add department to any news story, it becomes a big deal. I wanted to try to hopefully get ahead of it. And then after that, after I said our piece that the vehicle just slid off the roadway, there was no damage to town property, no damage to any other vehicle, there was no damage to any persons, no injuries. We forwarded it to Fisher's Fire Department for any further questions. But it did make social media pretty big.
Only injury, the driver's pride.
Yes.
So, all right, thank you, sir.
How
Yep.
many
Oh, sorry.
officers do we have now?
Okay, so we have 6 full-time, 1 paid part-time. And right now we are down to 4 reserve.
Is that
We have-
including the SRO, sorry?
SRO is included in the full-time.
That's what I was asking, yeah.
Yes. On the road, we have 5 full-time, 1 part-time. And then we have a full-time SRO. And then we have 4 reserves. And then got applications, we've got a few more applications for reserves. But at this time, that's all we have. And we usually don't keep a lot of reserves coming in, new reserves coming in, because training, we don't want to overburden our trainers and burn them out, because we really only have 2 officers that can do the training, the majority of the training. We got to try to give them a break too, because I don't want to burn that's when you come in and every night you're training, it does burn out your officers. So we try to space out the reserve, but we need to get it back up. Obviously, you had 1 retire at the beginning of the year. We've got another one that potentially could be retiring soon. But we'll see how that goes. We're attempting to get ideally, my goal is to get back up to 5 or 7. That would be reserve, yeah, ideally. Yeah.
What happens to the SRO when school's out?
Meaning, what do you
Like,
mean by
they
school out?
become for the summer period, do they become like full-time for us, or they just, how does that work?
Yeah, so it does, MOU is there, so it depends, but they will come to work the road. However, that's also their time to get any schooling, any training
Gotcha, that makes
that
sense.
applies to the school. Doesn't mean that we always have schooling. He's met the state mandate training already that you have to have, which is basically the SRO school and then the advanced SRO school. He's had it. We look for any training, additional training we have. We've sent him to other additional training. It just so happened that it was during the school year instead of during the summer. We also obviously offer him that opportunity. If he wants to take vacation during that period, he can take it. But unlike when I was a kid, you realize that summers for schools are extremely short now.
Yeah.
So, by the time you get training in, any vacation in, that's not a lot left. But to answer your question is yes, if you're interested in MOU, we can show you MOU.
No, I was just
It
curious.
breaks out when he works for us, when he works for them.
What prompted the question was I saw your post about your Christmas party.
Yes.
I honestly didn't realize we had that many officers. I honestly didn't, like, I heard other people around me say, how many we have now? So I just thought,
Yes. And, we've been at that number for a while now. We did have an additional reserve, but like I say, it's down. Break it down as far as the SRO, the easiest way to say it is 76% of the year he works for the school, the other 24% he works for us. That's basically how it comes out to.
Yep. He gets to cover a lot of vacations during the summer.
Yes.
Take his
I was gonna say, yeah, he probably helps cover.
So there's a lot of departments in the area though, with their SRO, that's all he does. And when we worked out the agreement with the school corporation, that's how it was hashed out that, yes, so even during the school year, if the school is out for more than 3 days, then he actually comes and works the road, comes back to the department. If it's just a 1-day holiday, then he doesn't come back to it. So there's certain stipulations he has, but during the summer, he does report back to the department. And then based upon any training requirements, anything else he has, he's working the road.
Yeah.
So we try to use him in the summer, which is beneficial right now with one gentleman in the academy. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir. Planning.
We're just reviewing the UDO and with Marcellus in workshops this last meeting and the next meeting in the hopes of presenting, the UDO for
Certification.
re-adoption.
And then we also have on here the appointment of Dan, so we discussed at the last meeting. We wanted to make sure that serving on 110 boards and commissions wasn't gonna burn him out. Has that discussion taken place, and are we ready to move forward? Move forward with appointing him to planning?
Dan has more energy than me. I don't know. And certainly more ideas. I think if he got a good idea of what the last one was. I don't know if he has set his priorities, but he didn't seem concerned that would be a problem. Is that a fair statement?
Then I would entertain a motion to appoint Dan Plumley to one of our open positions on the planning board.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
Anything else from planning? All right, Brandon's turn.
All right, few things. The boring project for the bank, basically from Pizza King all the way to the new
Oh,
bank.
it's more exciting than that.
boring.
It wasn't as exciting as we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it still was exciting, but they're done boring their conduit, now they're gonna start putting fiber in. They only hit one water service line,
Hey,
but it wasn't that long of a run, so. But that one's done, they called in the locates again, just in case they have to dig up conduit if the line gets stuck when they pull it through. The Comcast project has started calling in locates as of about the middle of last week. That has taken up a lot of our time, other than dealing with a down tree limb and getting the splash pad up and going today. That's what we have done all week, is nothing but locates. So I'm definitely getting my steps in doing those. So on that note, I wanted to propose to you guys that we suspend limb pickup, like as promising, it's gonna be the first and third Mondays. If we get a free day, we'll go pick up what we can, but I can't promise the first and third Mondays of the month. We missed it this past Monday and had a few angry phone calls asking why we didn't get them picked up, but these locates, when they get called in, I've got 2 full working days to get them completed.
Right.
And now, starting next week, they're gonna be in here boring. So on top of having all the locates, I'm losing somebody else because we have to go watch them across our utilities. So if you guys are okay with that, I'd like to.
I'd have do we think we can guarantee at least one day a month? Or
I
just
can't
say,
guarantee it, no, but
Would you just want them to call in if they need it temporarily?
I mean,
Bring
everybody,
up your other suggestion that we talked about earlier today about Saturdays.
yeah, the only other thing I can suggest is we work 6 or 7 days a week. I mean, it's, with the amount of locates that we're getting in from Comcast, we cannot keep up with other things. I mean, I've got asphalt to do, I've got storm, I've got a list of stuff that we are not gonna complete this year. Because this is taking 100% of our time. 4 people, all week, nothing but locates.
Do we have a place where we can just have, if people have limbs, they can bring them to the place and as you have time, chip them up?
Yes.
We can always dump them at the shop, but then,
I'm
Yeah,
only
I-
asking because then that way the people that are already irritated because we missed it or whatever, at least they have a place to get it out of their yard, so it's not killing their grass and then.
yeah, people want to take it and dump it out there at the shop.
Or we create a bigger problem doing that.
Could you do like a barricade
Yeah,
with like
set up
the
a
barricade?
pit.
I don't really have room out there.
Oh.
At least if it's in a pile and I need to get to the trailer or something else, I just push it out of the way with backhoe. You know, we don't have too much room out there to.
Can't burn.
do
on-
we need to make a motion to suspend our scheduled limb pickup, or is that just a?
Yeah, motion.
I make a motion that we suspend, limb pickup, until the Comcast project is done and allow citizens to bring, limbs to the utility building and pile them neatly out of the way.
That was only an act of God and not a tree cutting experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about is,
Yeah.
cause I've got piles on Fifth, or on Central that are 30, 40 foot long of just limbs from where they're clearing stuff out. I don't want those in the shop. It still have to be the same 3x3 pile.
And I haven't forgot about the honeysuckles, I just haven't had a chance to get out there and mess with that.
I haven't had a chance to get out there messing with
Is it in Virgil's way?
No,
Okay.
you can mow around it.
So I've made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Awesome. Chad,
Yes,
Lindsay,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
there we go.
Okay, so yeah, that helps a little bit. Like I said, this Comcast thing coming up, we're gonna spend a lot of money on things that we haven't spent a lot of money on, right? Like I've already spent, the past week and a half, I've already spent almost $500 on painting flags, and we're only a week into this. So for the four of us to locate just 5 days a week, we're looking at like $6,000 a week, like in labor and paint and some fuel. I haven't dug into it too much, so this was going on till October. So future, when we think about big projects like this, will we charge them? I think we're gonna make it
Here,
money on
the thing is, and for anybody that saw the news here, what, week and a half ago, week ago, there's a project like this going on, directionally boring fiber lines through Alexandria, and they hit a gas main and had to evacuate half the town. That response cost way more than the paint and the flags and all of those things that you guys are gonna deal with. But they had no supervision. They were just boring.
No, that's why I said, that's why I like to be out there
So,
when these guys are crossing our.
There, while, yes, there is an expense, the safety of our town folk and our utilities is far more important. Because that event, they had to call in just the town, 20 street department folks, every single police officer, every single firefighter, 4 other fire departments, all just to handle that, and of course Madison County EMA to handle the evacuation, and shut down half a town for about 8 hours. So, what you're doing is important and necessary to keep us safe from one of those incidents happening.
So on that, are you guys opposed to us working 6 or 7 days a week? If I can get the people to volunteer to do it, if the need arises.
I wouldn't want you to work 7 because that's how people get really burned out, personally. But if it's necessary, the overtime is a minimal cost compared to the alternatives, so.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be located regardless, so.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a couple things. So we have a tree at 529 John Street.
Don't look at me, it's not
So-
me.
3 times we've had pretty large pieces of this tree fall next to these people's house. Today it hit their house. So I have a quote to get it removed completely, from Dependable Tree Service. They've done work for us before. To remove the tree and then to remove the stump and everything afterwards, make it look nice, $2,650. I think that's a lot cheaper than us paying for their camper or their house.
It's our tree.
It is our tree.
And when that thing fell, it sounded like it was crazy. I heard it fall this morning.
I make a motion to approve the quote from Dependable Tree Service.
Well, hold on, do we have any more that are in that shape that we need to address before they hit somebody's house or their camper or a
This is
resident
the most
walking by?
threatening one we have. If we had it my way, we'd remove every one of our trees out of our areas we have.
Okay, but I'm talking about like, ones that are like
Ones
8
that are
out
like-
of 10.
No, this one's the.
This one's a 10.
Yeah, this one's a 10. It's falling apart every gust of wind you get, so.
Make a motion to approve the tree removal for Dependable Tree as presented.
Second.
Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay. Yes. Roger,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
All right, last thing, we do have one open position. We had somebody resign. So if you know of anybody or anybody else is looking, they can send a resume to my email, which is brandon@lapelindiana.org, or get an application from town hall.
And we do have it posted online.
It is posted
as-
online.
As well, so yes,
Yeah.
please tell your friends and neighbors.
Yep. That's all I got.
So
Alright.
total of one or total of two?
I got one position.
One.
Yeah, one position. You guys wanna give me two, I'll take another.
Let's see how
Would
many
that be-
applications we get.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
We can list it
if
as
you're,
seasonal.
if you're gonna have the guys working 6 days a week, would it not be less expensive and less risky to hire someone else seasonally?
A brand new person, unless they have some kind of experience, is basically just gonna be a stand here and watch.
they're good,
But-
they're good cones. When I say, hey, stand on this manhole, I'll go to the next manhole. It takes a while to get these.
But yeah, and the cone joke killed me. All right.
In that scenario, with summer, hire an intern to that has construction. I mean, that's a good way to give them experience and also be a
Well,
less cost.
if we get more applications and they're qualified candidates, we can always hire seasonal help.
Mhm.
And then the seasonal can always turn into part-time or full-time.
Right, but I was inquiring about internships.
There's not
because-
much you can do, like an intern's not gonna have their CDL and wanna come drive a truck to do limbs while we're doing locates, or to get certified in the certain aspects of things that we have to be certified in to do.
And we don't
It
have
takes time, like
an intern
months to get.
program.
Yeah,
Is there anything that has to be done to where if they do get a good candidate that would be seasonal, they can just go ahead and, like, do we need to approve that now or?
So per the salary ordinance, the department head and the liaison, if the position exists in the salary ordinance, can make the decision to hire without bringing it to the council. So
Okay, so who's the liaison? Should we address
If-
that now?
that, if Jenny and Brandon interview candidates,
Okay,
the town manager, who's the supervisor over the utilities, I
perfect.
trust her ability to make that decision to hire somebody.
Just
for
want to
us.
make sure we have that clarified in
Yeah.
the event that it comes up.
So yeah, but if you guys find more candidates,
we've had a couple,
and
we've
want
had,
to do some seasonal,
yeah.
give somebody, if they're iffy, we can always have them as a seasonal, and if they don't work out.
We've
they
had a
don't work
couple
out.
applications, and I didn't really I want to kind of maybe give another week or so before, then we could do like a mass kind of interview thing.
Yep.
So,
In all your free time.
and all my free time, so, yeah. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Brandon. Miss Katie for Parks.
We were not able to meet last month because of attendance. However, we had really good discussion, I feel like. I do still have an open seat. The letter of interest we received has been pulled.
Rescinded his.
Rescinded his decision. I don't know if you want to publicly discuss that, or I know there's been Facebook posts. If there's any questions, more than happy to answer them.
Any other big happenings?
No.
No?
I have something to add from a legal standpoint here. So we do, right now, as the Parks Board sits, there is a requirement, there's a party affiliation requirement. However, the statute does allow, if we have trouble filling vacancies, for the town council to pass a resolution that will get rid of that requirement. I think since we've been having trouble with the filling vacancies, that's not a ridiculous thing to consider.
I've had problems with that for over 15 years, so.
And
I
it's
started
not-
on the park.
The issue is right now, though, is not, it's not a party standpoint, it's lack of,
Just lack of, yeah,
For sure.
people.
I mean,
I would
obviously,
say
I'm not
go ahead.
opposed to it.
Yeah, I would prepare that.
If
Go
that's
ahead and-
something that grant
Absolutely.
covers from South Madison County is to boost the awareness, the public need for seats. It covers that. It specifically states that.
Anything else?
Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
All right, big happenings out of the RDC this month. We had, 3 items on our agenda tonight. We paid our bills. We reviewed our state required letter that goes out, for June, from the report from Reedy that makes sure that we're within our proper, spending limits. And we had a presentation from the police department. One of the many things that we can use, REC funds for, our improvement to, town spaces, and one of the things, our police department has been working out of what was Town Hall for many, many years now, and it was exactly as it was left as Town Hall, minus the wall that they had to rip down. And the building is just at a general level of disrepair and lack professionalism. We did have a generous donor donate a bunch of new office furniture to the police department, which made a huge difference. And then through discussions, there was it was brought up that, you know, if we had an avenue to do a bit of a remodel and reuse the space in a better way. So the chief and his team put together a proposal, brought to the RDC, and the RDC voted tonight to fund a remodel for the police department to get them brought up and up to current standards and things, not just of the space, but safety, storage of evidence, all of those things. So we will see a little bit of improvement at the PD. And it's a kudos to them because they did the legwork to get the quote and everything put together. They gave a tour to all the members of the RDC and explained the needs and all those things. But our police department has greatly evolved over the years to where we now have certified trainers that other police departments actually send their folks to us to train. Whereas we always used to have to go to other places. So bringing folks into our current PD to do training and education, the space isn't necessarily professionally conducive for that. This funds from the RDC is going to make that possible. So I'm excited to see what it looks like when it's done. And I'm sure Kelly will have the money spent next week. So that's the big exciting thing that we have going on there. And we are still looking for members there as well. But
How many positions are open there?
2.
Who's on it? You and who?
Myself, Dan, and Richard Himes.
Is that the really
So.
tall fellow with the glasses? Okay.
I guess I never paid attention to his height.
Yeah, he's tall.
All right. Next up, administration, Miss Jenny.
Hello. So we have been working with State Bank. Big news, they're gonna place their sign next week.
Hey.
The building looks great. I think the design they have really complements our Main Street and our downtown, and I know we're all very excited to see them open. Should be beginning of July. We were represented at the NDOT project update meeting for State Road 32 at County Road 925 West. That project was supposed to be completed before school started, but now it looks like it might be beginning the week
The school starts, that'll make that fun.
So there was a lot of discussion about coordinating with the schools, and I know NDOT asked for us to participate in some of that communication to try to mitigate inconvenience. Just want to say a quick word about our Stony Creek study. We know that legislation changed last session, and it kind of complicated Reedy's review of the fiscal analysis. So their recommendation, and I concur with it, is that we put it on ice for right now, the study only, not the process, and see what legislation is passed next session, so that those numbers, we know we're paying for an analysis that's based on real numbers. The initial analysis, though, seems to indicate that because of projected changes, 2029 might be a better target for reorganization if that's the way we decide to go. So I have no answers, but that is the update. And I still think that if the committee wanted to convene, the reorganization committee, they would have some things to discuss, at least with regard to process. I attended a finance and budget training from AIM. There was a lot of discussion about the new local income tax legislation, the municipal unit strategic task force, or MUST, and I'm sure Teresa is going to be working on that and keep everyone informed. But basically, the locals go to the county and try to work out a new tax rate, and if there is an informal, non-binding agreement, then we would file something with DLGF by October 1st. We also were invited to participate in the State Road 13 corridor study. That study is gonna look at making recommendations for access management standards, right-of-way dedication requirements, infrastructure and utility coordination, land use and development, and minimum corridor development standards. There is going to be a lot of opportunity for public input. I would encourage people to participate in that. The study is targeted to be completed in January. And I also wanted to highlight 3 of the actions you took tonight with regard to engineering, finances, and our ADA. I just want to say, every time you make an investment like that in the community, you're really setting us on a positive path. Very much appreciate that you continue to make decisions that move us forward. And I know that the groundwork we're putting in place now might take a while to come to fruition, but I do think we're creating a lot more opportunity for the town. Does anyone have questions for me?
The only thing I have to go back to the State Road 13 corridor. So the weird thing about the State Road 13, just to educate everybody, is it only covers so many feet off of the interstate. For us, that means it's going to cover, I think it's about a half mile, maybe less, of Lapel, north of 700. But we want to take that information and apply it potentially to the entire 13 corridor coming up to 38, because it wouldn't really make sense for us to have a different standard for everything beyond that half mile. So if you look at that information and look at the impact zone of what they're working on, please be very involved in that and give your feedback, because it is a great opportunity to have a group of people that we're not necessarily financially attached to help us save a ton of money on developing a big chunk of what is going to be our future.
Exactly.
So yes, please, when you see these things for these steering committees and public input, they do matter. So
Thank you.
thank you. Clerk Treasurer, Madam Clerk Treasurer.
Okay. Just a few things. We have a cleaning lady that comes to town hall. She doesn't do a whole lot. I know Christy was wanting to, see about getting the windows cleaned. Are you wanting me to look around to find somebody just to do the windows, or somebody to do cleaning and the windows? What were you thinking, I guess?
Well, me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to clean the windows.
Okay.
Gross, but that's because there's a lot more windows than there ever was before.
True.
There are a lot bigger windows than they ever were before. It is probably not realistic to expect, the office people to get outside with squeegees and do that in their spare time.
Okay.
But do you think you need a cleaner?
No, I mean, or the cleaner we have now, she's good. I just didn't know if you were wanting somebody to come like every
No,
week and
no.
clean.
I just thought like every so often we should just probably do
Just
Okay.
those.
as
All
needed
right.
schedule.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. You guys need to be, really thinking about the gas money from the gas sale. Where we're gonna put it, I don't know if we need to have some meeting set up to where we can look into, and maybe Jared may become a part of this as far as Trust Indiana. And maybe we can get together and get them a presentation of
Or other very good,
yeah,
options.
okay. You already brought up the air conditioner. We had a company that would always service the air conditioner at the old town hall. They were not from here, and so sometimes it took a couple of days for them to come if we had an emergency. Would it be all right if I found a local company? I don't know if the local company here in town would look at it, because I don't know if they do the bigger air conditioners.
Someone from Madison County, maybe?
Yeah, and then see what kind of contract we could get with them to like just come.
Annual maintenance.
We didn't hear it banging today, but I don't know how much it kicked on. One day it banged a lot, but,
Kelly, who do you use at the PD?
That's what I was getting ready to ask. We don't.
can we be included in that? We don't have anybody either for the
So-
utility shop.
So when you look at a service agreement, you could include like, I think we could include all of them on that.
Okay, okay.
Brad Douglas, Alpha Air, he's local. He's
Can you text that to me?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
That just makes it easier.
My last thing is, so we have started receiving invoices from Banning Engineering for Comcast. Where am I to pay those from?
What was
I know-
what was the agreement, Jenny, with Comcast as far as, is some part of their fee to cover that, or how's that?
Comcast is covering it 100%.
So do we send them the invoice, or do we get reimbursed?
I defer to you guys.
What does our contract say? Do we give them terms or was it upon receipt?
I wasn't any part of it, so you're.
No, I'm looking at Will.
Will.
William.
I think it was
Sorry.
in the-
We can review it.
signed with them.
I
Yeah.
don't know off the top of my head, I'll have to pull it, what it was, but I do know, like
Yeah.
Jenny said, they are paying
I
100%.
thought they were paying it, I just didn't know if it's,
I knew that, but I also remembered Banning saying they couldn't basically accept payment from them.
Yeah.
Right.
So if they can't accept payment from them, then I need somewhere to
but it,
receive money, and then do I bill them from a Banning or from Town of Lapel, or? I mean, I just received them.
I would like to request that legal looks into what our procedure is gonna have to be on that one.
I would love to
Thank you, sir.
get a memo to you guys on it.
Yes, a memo would be fantastic.
How much are you like, how much do we think it's gonna be in total?
That part I don't know, cause they're gonna go out and check their work and
Oh,
stuff. So
okay.
far, I've got, I think, about $3,000 to $5,000 worth of bills so far that we got last week, so.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was like in the 60,000.
By the time it's all done, yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of like the level of float, right? Like, cause
Thing is, do
we have to pay it, float it until we get reimbursed.
Right.
So I can try and help, we can talk about it maybe tomorrow, look at your options. I have some thoughts that I
Okay.
can run by you. Maybe we can handle it, but I wanna double check to make sure it,
I'm concerned about, like if we have net 30 with, Banning, right? And we have 30-day terms with Banning. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, but we don't really net 30 anybody, cause we
Yeah.
can't
The
net 30.
government's different.
My
Yeah.
thought process though is
Yeah.
if we're 30 days and then Comcast takes 30, 60, we could be sitting on whatever. we
Holding
pay
back.
that
That's
out
what
of.
I think he's.
yeah, that's what I was
talking
trying
about.
to, understand the magnitude of.
We're gonna put him right to work.
All right, oh, I wanted to thank Kelly and Buck introduced me to a friend of theirs, and we may end up getting some furniture donated at the town hall. So I will keep you guys posted on that one.
Anything free is worth saving up for.
Let's see,
It will be here all day.
and that's all I have for now.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, approval of minutes. We have, 2 sets of minutes before us, the regular scheduled April 16th meeting, and our special meeting from May 6th. So everyone had an opportunity to review those. Any questions, comments, concerns, or additions or retractions? I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented for April 16th and May 6th.
I'll make that.
Second. Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay. Yes. Roger.
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
All right, next up, we have our claims. I believe we're good this month.
I think
No,
so.
no, potential issues.
We got 4 here anyway. Could be no potential issues.
But, well, if both of us were on there, that'd be a problem.
Yeah, that would have been a problem.
All right, would entertain a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
And in the Department of Redundancy, we have the allowance docket, that needs to be approved. I'll make the motion to approve the allowance docket as presented.
I'll second.
Chad,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
Council member comments and concerns. I just wanted to take a moment to thank our clerk treasurer for, she's had a good run going lately, and we do have our current, fund and appropriation reports that were sent out to us. So thank you, for that.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Comments, concerns?
I've got 47 questions. No, I'm kidding.
She's kidding. It's 53.
I really.
All right. If there are no council member comments or concerns, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
We
I'll
have a,
second.
we have a second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. We will reach out and schedule our special public hearing.
I'm disappointed I get to see your face with